Everything changed in a matter of seconds. Welcome to NFL Nexus. I'm your host, and today we're diving into an explainer on a concept that literally defines the modern game of professional football. We're talking about the sheer, crushing weight of the defining moment. Before we get started, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below on what you thought. And hey, to truly support the deep dives we do here, support the channel by becoming a channel member. Look, in professional football, fortunes do not shift gradually. It's not a slow burn over the course of a lifetime. They change in the absolute blink of an eye. The margin for error out there, it's microscopic. You are either the hero who seizes the narrative, or you're the cautionary tale left in the dust of history. There is absolutely no middle ground. Today we're looking at two vastly different corners of the football world. On one hand, a desperate, violent battle on the turf in the UFL. On the other, a cold, high-stakes, multi-million-dollar boardroom showdown in the NFL. But here's the thing, despite the different arenas, both of these stories share the exact same DNA. They are absolute masterclasses in the immense, unforgiving price of pressure.
So ask yourself, what happens when your entire career comes down to a single moment? Just let that silence hang for a second. Think about the gravity of that reality. You train your entire life, right? From the time you're 7 years old, you dedicate your very existence to this singular pursuit. You sacrifice your body. You endure the torn ligaments, the concussions, the brutal 5 a.m. ice baths when no one is watching. You sacrifice time away from your family. You sacrifice your peace of mind. And then, suddenly, after decades of preparation, a window opens. And that window? It might only be open for a single quarter of a football game, with the play clock ticking down and 300-pound defensive linemen bearing down on you. Or perhaps it's a single off-season negotiation window, sitting across a polished oak table from a billionaire general manager. If you hesitate, if you flinch, if you show even a fraction of a second of doubt, that window violently snaps shut, and the opportunity is gone forever. Guys, this isn't just about winning and losing a game. This is about establishing legacies. This is about pure, unadulterated survival in a business that routinely chews up and spits out the weak.
Part 1. A game-changing decision. The Columbus Aviators' desperate pivot. Let's set the scene.
To truly understand the anatomy of this kind of pressure, we first need to look at a situation that unfolded directly on the field. We're transitioning over to the UFL, setting the scene in the crucial, high-stakes environment of the 2026 season. The Columbus Aviators found themselves backed completely into a corner. We're talking about the second-to-last game of the year. Everything they had built, the entire foundation of their season, was teetering on the absolute edge of collapse. You can just imagine the locker room, suffocatingly tense. The coaching staff was running out of answers, out of schemes, and most importantly, out of time. The 2026 season is quite literally on the line here. Head coach Ted Ginn Jr. stands on the sideline. The stadium noise is deafening around him. He looks at his starting quarterback, Jalon McClendon, who has just been struggling to read the defense, forcing throws into tight double coverage, completely unable to sustain drives. Ginn makes the agonizing, franchise-altering call. He benches him. Imagine the psychological toll of that specific moment, the cold reality setting in, and then backup quarterback Jalen Morton gets the tap on the shoulder. He's told to strap his helmet on and take the field. He is stepping into a raging pressure cooker. This isn't some meaningless preseason exhibition. This is the absolute climax of the year. The weight of the entire franchise, the job security of the coaching staff, the hopes of thousands of fans, it is all instantly, mercilessly transferred onto Morton's shoulders. He's been standing on the sideline cold for hours. Now he has to jog out into the huddle, look 10 desperate offensive players in the eyes, and somehow save their season.
Part 2. Jalen Morton's ultimate redemption. From rock bottom to a 91-yard miracle.
Now, football is a cruel, deeply unforgiving sport. You think the hero steps onto the field, the music swells, and he immediately throws a perfect 50-yard strike, right? Wrong. Jalen Morton takes the field, he calls the cadence, the ball is snapped, the pocket immediately collapses as edge rushers just pin their ears back. In the violent chaos of the moment, Morton fumbles. The ball hits the turf, a Birmingham Stallions defender scoops it up and returns it all the way to the house for a back-breaking touchdown. And to make matters even more bizarre and disastrous, a rare blocked point-after attempt by the Aviators is actually scooped up and returned by the Stallions for a single point. In the blink of an eye, before Morton can even process the speed of the game, Columbus is staring down a highly unusual, entirely deflating 6-1 deficit. Talk about hitting rock bottom on your very first touch of the football. The air was completely sucked out of the stadium. Most quarterbacks, they'd mentally crumble right there. They'd retreat into their shell, checking down passes, playing scared. But this is what it means to refuse to be defined by your worst mistake. Late in the first quarter, Morton shakes off the disaster. He drops back, reads a complex zone coverage, steps up into the pocket, and threads an absolute needle, a 16-yard touchdown pass to John Lovett, squeezing the ball between a trailing linebacker and a crashing safety. He's breathing life back into the team. In the second quarter, he continues to fight, finding tight end Gunnar Oakes for a crucial 20-yard strike to move the chains. Fast forward to the third quarter, the defense tightens up, trading blows. Morton drops back again, manipulates the free safety with his eyes, and launches a gorgeous 34-yard deep post route to Lovett for another touchdown. A successful two-point conversion ties this brutal battle. But the Stallions push back, they execute a methodical drive and kick a field goal to take a 29-21 lead. Now the fourth quarter arrives. There is only 3 minutes and 31 seconds left on the game clock. The season is effectively over if they fail here. Morton takes the field backed up deep in his own territory. Over the next 1 minute and 54 seconds, he engineers a flawless, masterful 6-play, 91-yard touchdown drive. He evades rushers, he diagnoses blitzes pre-snap, and when the field shrinks in the red zone, he doesn't even throw for the score. No, he takes it himself. A 10-yard design scramble, lowering his shoulder, absorbing the contact, and plunging into the end zone. Another two-point conversion ties it at 29-29. And then, the ultimate cinematic finish. With just 1 minute and 37 seconds remaining, the Aviators' defense steps up. DJ Miller Jr. jumps a curl route, intercepts Stallions quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and takes it 39 yards to the house for a game-winning pick six. A 36-29 victory. Jalen Morton didn't just survive the pressure, he bent the entire chaotic game to his absolute will.
When the final whistle blew, the statistics painted the picture of a man who fought his way out of a corner. 14 of 30 passing, that might not look like surgical perfection on paper, but it was incredibly gritty. It was exactly what was required in the muddy trenches of a must-win game. 213 passing yards through the air. But honestly, it was his legs that truly broke the opposition's defensive spirit. 97 rushing yards on 12 punishing carries. Think about that. When the play broke down, when his offensive line was beaten, when the pressure was literally in his face, Morton tucked the ball and scrambled for his life to extend the season. 310 total yards of offense, 4 total touchdowns. This performance completely rewired his career trajectory. He didn't just vindicate Ted Ginn Jr.'s agonizing decision to start him, he authored one of the most incredible, hard-fought redemption arcs of the UFL season. He faced his make-or-break moment, hit absolute rock bottom on his very first drive, and then methodically climbed his way out to dominate the narrative.
Part 3. The Ticking Contract Clock. Indianapolis faces a multi-million-dollar ultimatum.
Now, the crucial reality of professional football is that pressure does not solely exist between the white lines of the field. Oh no. It exists deep in the sterile, fluorescent-lit shadows of the front office. Here, the stakes aren't just points on a scoreboard, but tens of millions of dollars tightly squeezed against a rigid, unforgiving NFL salary cap. We're pivoting our narrative now from the UFL turf to the National Football League. We are shifting our focus to the Indianapolis Colts, an organization staring down the barrel of a massive, multi-million-dollar dilemma. If Jalen Morton's pressure was a ticking clock in the fourth quarter, the Colts' pressure is a ticking clock on their accounting department's whiteboards. Entering year 4 of his career, wide receiver Josh Downs is staring down his own immense make-or-break moment. He is entering a high-stakes contract year. Every single thing he does this upcoming season, every whip route he runs, every contested catch he secures over the middle, every block he makes in the run game, carries profound, life-altering financial weight. A single torn ligament could cost him $40 million, but a breakout Pro Bowl season, that could earn him $60. For Downs, 2026 is his fourth quarter. It is his 91-yard drive. But for the Colts front office, for general manager Chris Ballard, the clock is ticking even louder. They hold the pen, they hold the checkbook, and they understand the intricate mechanics of guaranteed money, signing bonuses, and dead cap space. Agents use these ticking clocks to squeeze general managers mercilessly. The Colts have a massive decision to make. Do they act now, or do they wait and risk absolute financial ruin?
To really understand the immense leverage Downs holds, we've got to dive deep into his production. This is not some average rotational player looking for a modest pay bump. In his first 3 years, Josh Downs has amassed 198 catches, 2,140 receiving yards, and 11 touchdowns. How did he get those 198 catches? By being an absolute technician, by displaying a catch radius that completely defies his physical frame, by mastering complex option routes in the slot and reading zone coverages better than veterans a decade older than him. When the Colts drafted him in the 3rd round of the 2023 NFL Draft, analysts called it the steal of the weekend. Well, 3 years later, those analysts have been proven emphatically correct. If you look across the league at other third-round picks from that 2023 class, many are already out of the league or bouncing around practice squads. Downs, however, has been the reliable safety valve, the dynamic chain mover, the receiver who gets open when the pocket collapses and the quarterback is under serious duress. He has unequivocally earned a massive payday. He is the prime asset.
The psychological burden of playing for your financial future is immense. Downs was actually recently asked by reporters about the pressure of this looming contract, and he shared some advice he received from a veteran in the locker room. He said, "Don't even think about it, man. Go out there and play. That's the most important thing, not to think about chasing money. I feel like that's when you lose yourself." Now, the player who delivered that advice was running back Jonathan Taylor. And if you follow the intricate history of the NFL, the sheer crushing irony of that statement is almost unbelievable. Let's rewind to the 2023 season for a second. Jonathan Taylor engaged in one of the most public, messy, and dramatic contract holdouts in modern football history. We are talking about mysterious back injuries, highly publicized trade demands, fines accumulating by the literally tens of thousands a day, and owner Jim Irsay tweeting inflammatory remarks right from his team bus. Taylor intimately knows how the business side of football can tear a locker room apart. He knows it can completely consume a player's mental state. He is warning Downs about a fire he himself was severely burned by.
Part 4. The 100 million mistake. The ghost of the Colts past.
So, while Josh Downs might be trying his absolute hardest to ignore the looming shadow of the money, the Colts front office simply does not have that luxury, because haunting the halls of their facility in Indianapolis is a very recent, terrifyingly expensive ghost. It's a precedent they set entirely by themselves. It's a front office disaster we call the 100 million mistake. Just 1 year ago, the Colts were in the exact same contractual position with another young, talented wide receiver, Alec Pierce. They had a critical choice. They could have extended Alec Pierce early, right before his breakout season. Pierce was dominating training camp. He was separating from elite cornerbacks in practice. The writing was clearly on the wall. If general manager Chris Ballard had locked him down then, the estimated cost would have been around $15 million per year, a fair, manageable deal that would have kept the salary cap healthy. But the front office blinked. They hesitated. They wanted to wait and see if it was a fluke. They wanted more data. And what did Alec Pierce do? He went out, punished their hesitation, and led the entire National Football League in yards per catch at a staggering 21.3. He became an absolute superstar overnight. By waiting a single year to save pennies, the actual cost skyrocketed to $28.5 million per year. The psychology of waiting too long destroyed their leverage. It cost them an absolute fortune.
Let this number sink in. $114 million. That was the total value of Alec Pierce's 4-year contract extension. To break that down further into the mechanics of NFL contracts, it included an astonishing $84 million in fully guaranteed money, a massive prorated signing bonus that instantly bloated the Colts' books. It went down in the record books as the largest free agent contract for a wide receiver in NFL history at the time. And the absolute tragedy for the front office here is that it was completely avoidable. If the Colts had possessed the vision and the conviction to lock him in when the price was reasonable, they would have saved tens of millions of cap space. Instead, because they let a player reach a contract year and control all the leverage, they were backed into a dark corner, forced to pay a king's ransom out of sheer desperation.
Now, a contract of that astronomical magnitude does not exist in a vacuum. It triggers a violent, immediate domino effect across the entire franchise's ecosystem. Because of that massive financial commitment to Alec Pierce, the Colts found themselves trapped in salary cap hell. The consequences were ruthless. First, they were forced to trade their longtime, incredibly reliable team captain, wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They didn't want to trade him, but they had to, simply to clear the necessary cap space to operate. Imagine the emotional fallout in that locker room, losing a beloved veteran because of a front office miscalculation. Furthermore, promising young receiver A.D. Mitchell was no longer on the roster. Because Pittman was sent packing to Pittsburgh, and because Mitchell was gone, a massive gaping target share suddenly emerged in the Colts' offense. The runway was completely cleared. The entire offensive ecosystem shifted, leaving an unbelievable opportunity staring Josh Downs directly in the face.
Right now, in the spring of 2026, before the first snap of the season, Josh Downs' projected 4-year contract extension value sits at exactly $65.5 million. That equates to roughly $16.4 million per year. A substantial number, sure, but manageable under the current league cap. But here is the chilling existential warning for Chris Ballard and the Indianapolis brass. If you wait, If you let Josh Downs step onto the field in Week 1 as the undisputed number 2 target in an offense desperately missing Michael Pittman Jr., if you let him feast on all of those newly available targets, that $65.5 million projection will absolutely evaporate. It will skyrocket. The leverage will shift entirely to Downs and his agent. History is screaming at the Colts not to repeat the Alec Pierce disaster.
Part 5. A massive year ahead. Seizing the 2026 opportunity.
We're bringing these intense narrative threads together now. The players in this league are highly intelligent. They know exactly what the business dynamics are. Just listen to Josh Downs himself, assessing his upcoming season. We don't have A.D. Mitchell anymore. We don't have Pittman anymore. So there's probably more opportunities there for me. So I'm excited for the new year. Guys, that is not the quote of a player who is passively letting the game come to him. That is the quote of a predator who clearly sees a vacuum and is fully prepared to fill it. He knows Pittman is in Pittsburgh. He knows Mitchell is gone. He also knows head coach Shane Steichen plans to move him from the slot to the outside, integrating him deeper into Steichen's vertical passing game mechanics to get him more high-value reps. Downs is entirely aware of the immense leverage he holds right now, and he's ready to capitalize on every single vacant target thrown his way.
So whether you're Jalen Morton standing in the huddle down by 8 points in the UFL with the season slipping away, or you're Josh Downs looking at a depth chart that has suddenly cleared out, creating a clear path to generational wealth, the overarching theme is exactly the same. You must seize the moment. The stage is set. The stadium lights are blinding. In a league where a front office's hesitation costs tens of millions of dollars, and where a single, gritty 91-yard drive can define a quarterback's entire legacy, who will seize the moment in 2026? Will the Colts executives strike now, or will they be doomed to repeat the most expensive mistake in their franchise's history? Will Josh Downs bet on himself and become the next $100 million man? The tension is incredibly thick. The stakes have literally never been higher, and the clock is officially ticking. Thank you for joining me on this explainer here on NFL Nexus. If you found this breakdown valuable, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment on what you thought. Who do you think holds the leverage? Also, remember to support the channel by becoming a channel member. Until next time, keep your eyes on the details, because in this game, everything changes in seconds.